Okay, so this is going to be fun. We're diving into red light therapy. And I gotta say right off the bat, it sounds a little like one of those too good to be true things, you know? Like shine a light and poof, wrinkles gone, pain gone. You're suddenly a genius. It's easy to be skeptical.
I get it. It does sound a little out there.
Yeah.
But what I think is really interesting here is that we're not talking about some fringe theory or anything. We're talking about a huge amount of research.
Yeah.
Over 50,000 studies. And even FDA approval for certain applications.
50,000 studies. Whoa, okay, so this isn't just like people on the internet say, oh yeah, red light changed my life kind of thing.
Right, we're talking about legit science studies that have been going on for decades. And you know what's really wild? The potential benefits are all over the map. We're talking skin rejuvenation, pain relief, even get this hair regrowth.
It's like the Swiss Army knife of wellness, fixes everything.
Yeah.
So maybe let's just start with the basics. What exactly is red light therapy? When we say that, what are we actually talking about?
Okay, so in the simplest terms, red light therapy. Sometimes it's called low-level light therapy or photobiomodulation. Basically, it's exposing your body to certain wavelengths of light, specifically red and near-infrared light. And this light, it gets absorbed by your cells, and that triggers a bunch of good stuff.
So you're like bathing in red light. That sounds pretty, I don't know, futuristic.
It might sound futuristic, but the science is solid. These wavelengths, they can actually penetrate your skin, get deep into the tissues, and that's where they get to work on your mitochondria, the powerhouses of your cells.
Hold on, so it's not just the light hitting the surface, it's like going deeper and doing something inside my actual cells.
Yep, exactly. And this interaction with the mitochondria, that's the key, red light, it stimulates the mitochondria to make more ATP, which is basically the energy that powers everything in your cells.
Okay, so it's like giving my cells a little energy drink, a jump start. And that jump start helps with healing, with inflammation, basically all the stuff that keeps our bodies running smoothly.
You got it. And that boost in energy, it has a pretty big impact. Like for example, there's a ton of research on how red light therapy affects skin health. There was this study in the Journal of Investigative Dermatology, and they found that red light actually stimulated collagen production. And that's huge for keeping your skin firm and, youthful looking.
Interesting. So it's not just making your skin look better on the surface, it's actually making your skin healthier from the inside out by boosting collagen, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't collagen what starts to break down as we age and causes wrinkles?
That's right. And it's not just about wrinkles either. Red light therapy has also been studied for treating things like acne and psoriasis, conditions that can be really tough to deal with.
So how does red light therapy compare to other treatments for those skin conditions? Is it more effective or does it work in a totally different way?
That's a good question, and honestly, the answer depends. It's not like a one-to-one comparison, because red light therapy works differently than, say, a topical cream or medication. It's not about killing bacteria or directly fighting inflammation. Instead, red light therapy is more about encouraging the body to heal itself. It promotes cell regeneration and reduces oxidative stress.
So it's giving your body the tools it needs to heal rather than just attacking the problem head on.
Exactly. And there are some advantages to that approach. For one, it's non-invasive and generally very safe. There are very few side effects, and the ones that do pop up are usually pretty minor, like mild skin irritation or eye strain if you're not careful.
That's good to hear, especially compared to some of the other treatments out there that can be pretty harsh. It sounds like red light therapy has a lot of potential for helping people with all sorts of skin concerns.
It definitely does. And we're only just scratching the surface of what we're learning about its capabilities.
Yeah.
But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's dig a little deeper into how this therapy actually works, like at the cellular level.
All right, so you were saying that red light therapy works by messing with our mitochondria or something. Can you explain that a little more? What's actually going on in those tiny little cells?
Okay, so remember how we were talking about mitochondria being the powerhouses of our cells?
Yeah, I vaguely remember that from high school biology, something about ATP.
Right, ATP, that's the key. It's like the fuel that powers all the processes in our cells. And mitochondria, that's where ATP gets made. They take the food we eat and turn it into that usable energy.
Okay, got it. So how does a red light fit into all of this?
Well, what's really cool is that red light can actually boost that whole process. When those red and near-infrared light photons, they hit the mitochondria, they get absorbed by this molecule called cytochrome co-oxidase.
Cytochrome C oxidase, catchy name.
Right, but anyway, that absorption triggers a whole chain reaction, and the end result is more ATP.
So the red light is basically supercharging our mitochondria, making them produce more energy. And then all that extra energy, that's what leads to all those crazy benefits we've been talking about.
Exactly. It's like giving your cells a boost, helping them work better and faster.
I gotta say, it's still kind of blowing my mind that shining a light on ourselves can actually do all this. It's like something out of Star Trek.
I know it sounds wild. But think about it. Light plays a huge role in so many biological processes, like how plants use sunlight for photosynthesis, or how our bodies make vitamin D when we're out in the sun.
True, true. So I guess it's not that crazy to think that certain kinds of light could actually be therapeutic.
Exactly. And red light therapy isn't new either. Doctors have been using it for decades, especially for wound healing and pain management. So there's definitely some solid science behind it.
Speaking of pain management, I've heard that a lot of athletes are using red light therapy for muscle recovery and pain relief. Is there anything to that?
Yeah, there's actually quite a bit of research on that.
Yep.
A study in the Journal of Laser Therapy back in 2016, they found that red light therapy actually helped reduce muscle soreness and speed up recovery time after exercise.
So it's not just bros at the gym saying it works, there's actual evidence.
Yep. And it all comes back to those anti-inflammatory and tissue regenerating properties we were talking about. The red light, it helps calm down the inflammation in your muscles, and it also promotes the growth of new blood vessels, which speeds up the healing process.
So it's not just masking the pain, it's actually helping the body fix itself faster. Pretty cool.
Yes. And it's not just for muscle soreness either. There's research on red light therapy for chronic pain too, things like arthritis and back pain.
So bringing it back to that whole ATP thing, that extra energy from the red light, it's not only helping muscles recover, but it's also helping reduce pain by fighting inflammation and boosting healing all over the body.
Exactly. And one of the biggest advantages of red light therapy is that it's non-invasive and drug-free. So it's a great option for people who are looking for a more natural way to manage their pain.
Yeah, that's definitely a big plus, especially with the opioid crisis and all that. But I'm curious, with all these benefits, are there any risks or downsides to red light therapy? Is it too good to be true?
Well, like with anything, there are some things to keep in mind. Red light therapy is generally considered very safe when you use it correctly. But it's super important to do your research and get a device from a reputable company and follow the instructions.
So don't just buy some random red light off the internet.
Right, exactly. And like with any new health thing, it's always a good idea to talk to your doctor first, just to make sure it's right for you.
Makes sense. Okay, so we've talked about skin, we talked about pain, but one thing I'm really interested in is the research on red light therapy and brain health. Is that legit, or is that still kind of out there?
It's definitely an area of active research, but the early results are really exciting. Some studies have shown that red light therapy can increase blood flow to the brain, improve memory and focus, and even help with depression and anxiety.
Whoa, hold on. So we're not just talking about physical benefits. Red light could actually make us smarter and happier.
Potentially, yeah. One theory is that red light therapy, it does the same thing in the brain as it does everywhere else. It gives those mitochondria a boost. So if your brain cells have more energy, they can work better, communicate better.
So better brain cells, better thinking, better mood. I like it.
And some studies are even suggesting that red light therapy might help grow new brain cells, which is pretty amazing.
That's wild. So red light could not only help us keep the brains we have, but actually help us build new ones. Sign me up. Man, this is so cool. I'm starting to see why everyone's so excited about red light therapy. It feels like there's so much more to discover.
Oh, absolutely. We're just scratching the surface here. There's so much potential with red light therapy, so many different areas we could use it.
Like we briefly talked about weight loss and boosting testosterone. Is that something that red light therapy can actually help with, or is that still kind of up in the air?
Those are definitely areas where more research is needed, but there are some promising early findings. It's definitely worth exploring further.
So what's the idea there? How could shining a light on yourself actually affect things like your weight or your hormones?
Well, one thought is that it might have something to do with the endocrine system. You know, those glands that produce hormones like the thyroid and the testes. Red light therapy could be stimulating the mitochondria in those glands, leading to more hormone production, like testosterone, for example.
So it's not like it's directly targeting fat cells or anything, it's more about getting your hormones in balance.
That's one possibility. Another theory is that red light therapy could be affecting the fat cells themselves, maybe helping to break them down or stop them from growing. But again, more research is needed to really figure all that out.
It sounds like there's a lot of potential there, but we got to be careful about getting ahead of ourselves, right? We don't want to overhype it until we have more solid evidence.
Exactly. It's important to be smart about it. Do your research, look for reliable information, talk to your doctor, that kind of thing.
Speaking of being smart about it, with all this new technology and these new therapies popping up, there's so much information out there, it's hard to know what to trust.
Oh, totally. It's easy to get caught up in the hype. But that's why we do this show, to try and give people a balanced perspective based on the actual science, not just marketing and anecdotes.
Right. We want people to be informed, make good decisions about their health. So big picture, what would you say is the main takeaway from our deep dive into red light therapy? If people only remember one thing, what should it be?
I think the most important thing is red light therapy is a really promising field. There's a lot of good science behind it and a lot of potential benefits. It's not a magic bullet. It's not going to cure everything, but it's a really powerful tool that can help people live healthier lives.
And it's getting easier and easier for people to try it out at home with all these affordable devices coming out.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
So if you're curious, do some digging. See if red light therapy might be a good fit for you. But just remember, do your homework, talk to your doctor, make sure you're using it safely and correctly.
Couldn't have said it better myself. All right, well, we've covered a lot of ground today, from the science behind red light therapy to all the potential benefits for our skin, our muscles, our brains, even our hormones.
It's amazing how much research there is and how much we're still learning about this technology.
So knowing all this now, what's the thing that you find most exciting about red light therapy? What really gets you fired up?
You know, for me, it's the potential for cognitive enhancement. The idea that we could actually use light to improve our brain function, our mood, our mental well-being, that's incredible. It opens up so many doors for helping people with cognitive decline and even just for improving our overall cognitive performance.
I totally get that. That's super exciting for me too. But honestly, I'm also really intrigued by the whole healing and tissue regeneration aspect. Think about what that could mean for sports injuries, for wound care, even for anti-aging. The possibilities are kind of mind-blowing.
It's definitely a field with a lot of potential. I can't wait to see what the future holds for red light therapy and what new discoveries are made.
Well said. Well, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive. We hope you enjoyed this illuminating look at red light therapy.
And as always, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep an open mind.